Hey guys, today we're checking out the Supreme Suspension's 1.5-inch billet hub and wheel-centric wheel spacers in a set of 4 fitting all 2005 and newer pre-runner and 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacomas. So there are a number of different reasons why you would want to add wheel spacers to your truck. One of the biggest reasons is the fact that these are going to give your truck a very aggressive stance, especially if it's lifted. Now, these are also a great solution if you're looking for some better handling with the wider stance, and also if you've had some fitment issues with your wheels and tires. So if you've upgraded to a larger tire and you're having some rubbing on either the inner fender liner or the wheel on your suspension or steering components, a wheel spacer is a perfect solution, and it's also a very affordable one at that. This set of wheel spacers is going to move your wheel out 1.5 inches on all 4 corners while being durable and lightweight, made of a T6 aircraft aluminum material. They're also going to have a black anodized finish on top to protect that aluminum underneath from any corrosion. And what I do really like about this set is the fact that it's going to come with pre-installed studs, so you don't have to worry about adding those in. All you have to worry about is bolting these wheel spacers up to your truck. Now, like I mentioned before, wheel spacers are an affordable solution, and this set of all 4 is going to come in roughly at $150. Now, in comparison to some other wheel spacers on the site, this is going to be a pretty average price for wheel spacers, but what I personally like about this kit is that it's going to come with all 4. Some other options on the page will either come with 2 wheel spacers or they will only come with 1, so you will have to order multiple in order to get a set of 4 for your Tacoma. Now, the other big difference between a lot of other options on the page is going to come down to overall size. Now, again, these are 1.5 inches. However, wheel spacers range anywhere from 1/2 inch all the way up to 2 inches. Now, 1.5 inches is going to be a pretty common size. However, it does come down to your wheel and tire setup and what is best for you, or even what kind of stance you prefer. So if you are looking for an aggressive setup and you're looking for a kit that's going to come with all 4 with pre-installed studs and an overall quality build, this option is going to be right up your alley. So like I mentioned before, install is going to be pretty easy at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. We're only going to need a couple of basic hand tools to get the job done. So speaking of that, let's jump into the install. Tools that I used for my install were a torque wrench, an electric and a pneumatic impact wrench, a 3/8-inch drive ratchet, a wheel key, a 3-inch extension, a 19mm deep socket, and a 19mm shallow socket, and a 5mm Allen socket. So our first step is obviously going to be to take off our wheel, but we have a fuel wheel here, so we will have to take off the cap first in order to access our lug nuts. I'm using a 5mm Allen socket as well as an extension of my impact to do that. Right, so we can pull that off, and then we can access our lug nuts. What we can do next is remove the lug nuts. Now, the size of your socket, or if you have to use a key or not, is going to depend on your wheel and your lug nuts. I'm using a key and also a 19mm socket. What we can do now is fully remove our wheel. Now, at this point in time, what I would recommend to do is put red Loctite on each one of your factory studs. This is for demonstration purposes, so I am not going to do that, but our next step would be to add our wheel spacer. Make sure that it's sitting flush on the hub here. So after the wheel spacer is sitting flush, what we can do is grab our provided lug nuts, the ones that were threaded onto our wheel spacer, and install those onto our factory studs. Now I'm using a 19mm deep socket just to thread those on. We'll tighten those down and torque them down in just a minute. So at this point, we need to tighten down the lug nuts that we just installed. What I would recommend is for someone to sit in the driver's seat and hold the rotor in place with the brakes so our hub doesn't spin when we're torquing this down. Now, the factory spec should be 85, but I would always double check that. And we can go ahead and torque these down in a star pattern. Now we're ready to put our wheel back on now that that is torqued down. What we can do is mount our wheel and tire back up. Next we can thread on our lug nuts with our lug nut key, or you can use the deep socket that you're using for your factory ones. Right? Once your lug nuts are torqued down, then we can put our cap back on. We can take our 5mm Allen key, and then we can repeat that process on the other 3 wheels. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.